Welcome to part 4 of Sonic Generations, and in this part we're going to be taking a look at the classic era challenges and a couple of bosses. The challenges in themselves are basically filler. What I will let them off for is that you don't have to do all of the challenges, you only have to do 3 of them per era. And that means if there's a particular challenge that you really don't care for, you can skip over it entirely and still complete the game. Which is always appreciated, because some of the challenges in the game are a bit And as we have this section here where there's a very obvious lack of both diegetic and non-diegetic sound in the game, we can see that there are quite a lot of different challenges to choose from. Throughout this playthrough I will be covering mostly modern challenges, and that's solely because I just generally prefer playing as modern Sonic, but there will be a couple of classic Sonic stages just thrown in there in the mix, just to give classic a little bit more representation too.
One thing I do like about classic Sonic is just how fast his spin dash is.
Yeah, I like his spin dash. I'm not too fond on his jump. His jump feels a lot more limited compared to how it was in...
He hasn't even got a homing thing as well. The double jump thing, normal Sonic.
The homing attack.
Yeah, homing attack, yeah.
No, it's not so much that, it's more that his jump feels like it doesn't go as high as it should. And there are like different skills you can equip and things, but yeah, like, I wish the main route classic Sonic were just more competent. But the physics for classic seems like he was much less developed than modern was on the whole.
Yeah.
This particular mission, this is the one where we're racing Tails. I say race very lightly because you're not going to lose this. You have no hope of losing this. But what you find is these are the lower budget versions of the initial stages. They just sort of take stock assets to pad out the levels as opposed to developing new ones for it. Which, given they are minor challenges, it's not that big of a concern to me, but it would have been nice if they were a little bit more fancy, I reckon.
Makes you wonder how poor a pilot Tails is if, when he's flying over all these obstacles, Sonic is beating him by going on foot across all these obstacles.
Yeah, but I would say he's actually improved since the start of Adventure. We can give him that much.
True.
Mayday, mayday! Oh, bless him. Yeah, I'm going to be getting S ranks in all of these, because these are the ones where you might have some difficulty getting S ranks, because the missions come down purely to time with S ranks. So, like, you don't really get a bonus from doing well, like beating enemies and shit. It's solely time, and some of the later ones in particular can be a little bit finicky. Like, well, I say later ones. This one I'm going up to here, this was a retake where my first one I missed the S rank by like a few seconds. Like, I think it might have been like 2 seconds there. You can see me pass score on the loading screen there. 112, I think it's 110 for the S rank. That's how tight it can be sometimes.
Yeah. I forgot about the SEGA, is it Mega Drive or Genesis up the top?
Yeah, you can unlock.
You can unlock.
Yeah.
When can you unlock that?
That it's one of the things you can get from the shop. It is literally the entire game of Sonic 1 that you can play.
Not a bad touch, is it?
No, it's pretty cool actually. Granted, it's not as great an emulation as, say, like, I don't know which ones to reference, but the more recent Sonic 1 adaptations are much better, because this one is very much limited to Generations interface. Like, if you pause, it comes up with Generations pause screen and all that sort of stuff. It's not like it plays one for one, but the general touches to it aren't, if that makes sense.
Well, it's got to be better than the GBA one.
Yeah, it kind of goes without saying.
Oh, that one was perfect.
That game was perfect because they added the spin dash in. It's an improvement.
Sure, they cut off the bottom of the screen most of the time, and it lagged, and the timer was slower than actual time.
Yeah.
Hang on, we're doing it again, aren't we? Talking about the bad.
That's how it's meant to be, right?
To be fair though, that mission wasn't all that exciting. It was just like using the invincibility so the spikes don't get you. Nothing really that special. And if you can see me struggling with a jump there, that's why I don't particularly like these hub worlds, because it's just fiddly. I'd rather have a menu.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is the sort of not too exciting Knuckles mission, where it's a treasure hunting mission.
Oh, right, yeah.
So if there's a precedent for treasure hunting levels not being too amazing. But basically you go up to where the little prompts are, you press Y and that prompts Knuckles to dig, and you've got to collect 35 of these little coin things. Because the highlight of Mon Sonic is stopping still and waiting, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly why I'm so glad they put in this boost mechanic and they gave us homing attacks to speed up.
Yeah, but now you've got to wait and dig stuff.
Yeah, I really don't dig that. I've started. It's pretty much just the start of Sky Sanctuary again. There's a few parts of the set pieces in that they've shifted around, and we get things like fire here that slow us down a little bit, but that's pretty much it. Just find these things. The music playing is hilariously inappropriate, I find. I think it's the title screen from one of the 3D Blast games. And it's just so silly compared to what running around in that. And it's a very short loop too, it's 5 seconds of music just over and over and over.
I can't help but think of Knuckles being used as a Pokemon right now.
Go Knuckles! Use Dig! Yeah, pretty much. Love it.
Oh yeah, it could take you to the end of the stage.
Yeah, actually he can fucking glide! Take us there. I find it curious how we've got a crazy taxi style arrow pointing us to him rather than Knuckles' own radar thing that we had from the adventure games. Unless it is a thing because the SA2 radar was significantly worse than the SA1 radar. Does it get worse over time? And so suddenly now Sonic needs to just go find them himself. And I do like how, because we went the alternate route, the arrow doesn't always pick up that you've gone an alternate route, so it's still pointing to ones behind you sometimes. Yeah, that's not
so it's
finicky at all.
It's always hoping you listen to it, like a sat-nav.
Yeah. I wonder if you can install novelty voices onto it. Who could we have? We could get a Jason Griffith voice going just to piss off Spax a bit more. I'll be done with that.
I assume now you've just got to make it to the end of... Oh, right,
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. Keep up, Stephen.
I assumed it was going to go through the entire level again.
Nah, thankfully not. They do abridge most of the stages. The exceptions being the doppelganger races, which I'm not going to show off, but essentially it's a race against your doppelganger and it's through the whole stage. And it's them ones there that you can see.
What does ringing the bells above the mini-games do?
What that does is it releases either an artwork piece or a music piece. That's how you unlock those. Now we come up to the first boss of the game.
I love this battle. I don't know.
You've played Sonic CD, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah.
How do you think it stacks up to the...
Probably the original. It's probably better.
Would you really say? I didn't really like that one in CD.
What do you like about it?
It just feels there's a lot of things that just stop you, getting your way. Compared to this, where you keep running no matter what. There's different places you can jump to. Whereas I found the CD one really underwhelming.
I suppose the CD one is harder though.
Yeah, it is harder. Yeah, this is really easy boss. Yeah.
Even Metal Sonic looks sort of cute.
I love that metal face palm just then. That was fucking hilarious. I love it. In terms of the bosses, Classic Sonic sort of gets the short end. You only get 2 bosses where you play as Classic. All the others are modern.
The the Eggman robot, right?
Yeah, we'll be going to him next after we're done with Metal Sonic. It's interesting that we do fight Metal before we go to the Death Egg Robo, given I believe the 2 was meant to be set before CD. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think CD's actually been placed officially. All we know in terms of CD's placement in the story is that CD leads into Sonic 4 Episode 2. Which, that makes it confusing because I'm not sure where that places Episode 1. Because bear in mind the Sonic 4 games are modern Sonic, so it's obviously set after this is. I'm confused. The Sonic canon confuses me a lot, actually.
This is not Zelda canon.
Oh, I don't know, this is pretty fucking confusing in itself. Especially when we get to late on in the games, like placing like Sonic 06 in the plot and that, because this makes 06 canon.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Even though it was erased.
Yeah, we'll get more into that when we get to Crisis City. Yeah, overall that was an easy boss.
Killed classics.
Classic Metal Sonic.
Classic Metal Sonic, yeah.
He'll be back. Well, modern Metal Sonic will be back. Again and again and again, and in Boom somehow. And yeah. Still not sure what they were trying to do with bringing Metal back in Boom, because he didn't actually have a redesign at all.
Yeah, plus they bring in that whole cliffhanger moment at the end of the game.
That game's not getting a sequel. Why bother? Unless...
Well, the 3DS version is somehow.
Yeah, Fire and Ice like that. They haven't really said much about Fire and Ice lately. Like, it got delayed, and they just haven't mentioned anything about it since.
Can't blame them.
Like, to give credit where due, apparently from what I've read, the guys in charge of that have read some of the criticism from Shattered Crystal. So with any luck, that will at least be a more solid sort of 2D platformer. Hopefully it won't have as much backtracking as Shattered Crystal had, but we can just live in hope, I guess. This is one of the cutscenes that will look different if you enter the stage as modern, because you'll see it from his perspective rather than what we're seeing now, which is Classic's perspective.
Oh, that's
good quite cool.
Yeah.
This cutscene manages to say so much with so few words.
Wait a minute, I have green eyes.
Fuck,
they've ruined me.
I made a bad future. But where I will defend the green eyes in the modern design in that it's a more detailed take on Sonic's design. If you were to compare that to, like, say, the blue arms in the Boom design, that's not a more detailed design. That's like a step backwards. That's why I have issue with the blue arms, but not the green eyes. And now it's this boss. I don't know why they bother doing the question mark thing. Like, we're going to see it in, like, literally a second. I'm not surprised they used the Death Egg Robo. It's the probably most iconic one other than the first boss from Sonic 2. So if they're going to use the Sonic 2 boss, it makes sense it's this. And out of all the final bosses, I guess they could have used Big Arm, although they used Big Arm in the 3DS version. This works, it loses some of its impact given this was in Sonic 4 Episode 1 as well. That's kind of what holds it back for me. I don't know about you guys. Would you have any others that you would have picked instead of this?
I don't know, but I think this is alright because, like, well, maybe you've seen too much of it, but it's an iconic boss in it.
Yeah. Steve, would you have any other preferences from classic Sonic?
I don't know. The only one I can actually think of is the boss from Green Hill Zone.
Oh yeah, like
but that would have been really boring.
Yeah, and they've reused that before as well, haven't they? Like in advance, they reused that, so I wouldn't want to do it again. And this is really annoying. It's so easy to accidentally overshoot the thing, and then you've wasted a cycle. I think using this boss makes sense. That integrating it how they did, not so much, because it's just long and drawn out. And I did actually encounter a glitch in this when I was playing this quite a while ago, where during the transitional phase, as he lands on the floor after doing the first jumping part, it threw me up in the air, and then I fell through the floor.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that was not exactly that great a showing on the boss. Although it did give me the chance to make the pun of Sonic Generations is a flawless game.
There really is no shame, is there?
Of course not.
Casino Nights is the DLC in this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not. Well, it was a pre-order bonus sort of thing, and it's DLC in the PC version. It's not a full level, it's literally just a little pinball mini game. I'm not going to be showing that off in this playthrough because I didn't really see the point, but yeah, it's nothing. If you missed it, if you didn't get the pre-order, you're really not missing much. And if you got the PC one, it's really not worth your time downloading it, I don't think. Classic Sonic's expressions can be so good.
I'm so glad they made him silent as well instead of talking. I think that would have ruined him a bit.
Yeah, just like granted there were iterations of classic Sonic that had a voice. If you think like say the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Sat AM, they had like Jaleel White voicing him. I think in terms of the games, it works best if the other characters do the talking for him. Because classic Tails has got a voice.
Oh yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, it's basically adult Tails' voice, but like squeakier.
I think I figured it out.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Tails on helium.
Lovely, just what we always needed.
Enemies from
I think in terms of the voice acting, the one character who got that treatment when I don't think they should have is Amy Rose. Sounds more like Cream than Amy. Like her new voice actress, I forget the lady's name, but she does a really high-pitched sort of act for Amy. And I seem to recall that being toned down quite a bit for Boom, but in this game it's super high-pitched. Because there was that quote of, I was afraid I won't be able to flirt with you again. That's just so awkwardly delivered. Although it's clear at this point in the Sonic timeline, they hadn't really thought about developing the other characters. They only really put the effort into Sonic, Tails and Eggman. They're the ones who got most in-depth. All the other characters just had brief lines here or there. So it does make sense that they didn't really put as much time into bringing in the other voice actors properly, training them up as much. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess.